to the Dr. Joy series. This is a series of short videos that is meant to strengthen you on the inside so you can thrive in challenging situations and also help you to become emotionally fulfilled in your life. My name is Dr. Joy Kwakui. I am a psychiatric nurse practitioner and the author of the best-selling book, The Ultimate Cure for Depression, Leveraging Science and Faith for Total Healing. Please take a moment and subscribe to my channel so that you can be updated on future episodes of this series. Today, I want to share a few thoughts with you on something that's on the minds of most of us. That is how to overcome fear and anxiety. The news that we hear about disease outbreaks, natural disasters, job losses, and losses of money on the stock market have made many of us afraid and anxious. To begin with, fear and anxiety are the body's natural responses to actual or perceived threats. Some amount of anxiety is normal because it helps us to do things that protect us from danger. For instance, anxiety is what causes us to get out of the way when an oncoming vehicle approaches. But very often, anxiety becomes overwhelming. And it shows up in the form of nervousness, restlessness, tremors, muscle tension, shortness of breath. And before you realize, you are unable to think right because your brain is in some kind of overdrive. It begins to affect your work productivity, your relationships, and your physical health as well. And the question is, what do you do if you ever find yourself in such a situation? Well, the first thing I would mention is that the battle has to be won on the inside first. The battle over fear and anxiety has to be won in your mind and in your spirit before it can be won on the outside. Most of the time, you can't do much about the external factors that are threatening you. These are what we call circumstances of life, and they are outside of your control. You are better off putting most of your effort into managing your response to the circumstances. One of the very first things you might want to consider is to withdraw yourself from whatever is triggering your anxiety. Sometimes you cannot completely withdraw from it, but you might be able to limit your exposure to it or create a distance of some sort from the precipitating factor. The precipitating factor may be news on a disease outbreak. Of course, it's a good practice to keep informed on what is happening in society, but it is wise to not listen to news about things that are not going well, say all day long. You might want to limit yourself to say once a day or some other regularity. You need to remember that anything that you focus on will become bigger and bigger in your mind until there is no room for anything else. Another intervention that can help with fear and anxiety is to distract yourself and shift your focus onto things that are relaxing, productive, and fulfilling. And we call them coping mechanisms. I discussed some of these in my book, The Ultimate Cure for Depression. While many of these activities will be helping you to cope with your fear and anxiety, some of them can also improve your life in some way. There are hundreds of coping mechanisms, including listening to music or making music yourself, listening to positive, calming, and encouraging podcasts or teachings, intentionally stopping from time to time and taking a few deep breaths on purpose, taking a walk on a daily basis, spiritual activities such as prayer or reading and meditating on the Bible or some other positive material that fills your heart with and your mind with peace and hope. Starting a new project that can open the door to a whole new world for you. Somebody like the Apostle Paul in the Bible, who wrote more than half of the New Testament, wrote most of his epistles while he was in prison. That means that while he was writing, he was not focused on how bad it was to be in prison. What a great way to cope. The last intervention that I would like to suggest is positive affirmations. Fear comes by hearing, and faith also comes by hearing. So when you write down and you regularly read back to yourself things that you desire, it will not be long before these things begin to show up in your life. You might want to regularly confess things like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Through the help of God, I will survive the storm and I will overcome every challenge life throws in my path. My God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that I ask or think. With Jesus in the boat, I can smile at the storm. That's one of my favorites. I receive the peace of God that passes all understanding in Jesus' name. There are many other simple but powerful things that you can do, such as ensuring that you're taking care of yourself, getting sufficient rest and nourishment, surrounding yourself with positive and supportive people. Please look out for the other episodes of the Dr. Joy series. And meanwhile, if you or anyone you know is dealing with any mental health or emotional challenges, you're welcome to download a copy of my book and also book a free consultation with me at my website, faithandpsychiatry.com. Until then, I want you to know that there is hope for you and you will overcome.